everybody, welcome to the series Blessed slash 4. And I want to kick off by just, asking this question. Have you ever taken full credit for something without realizing that you probably didn't get there or accomplish it all on your own? For example, maybe you are an athlete and you have this great game or this great moment. Maybe you play basketball and you hit the final shot and people are like, how did you do that? And what is our natural instinct to say, oh, well, that's just all me. That's just how I'm gifted. That's just how I'm talented. I think we're really good at taking the credit for so many things in our lives without giving credit to the people that we had to rely on to get there, right? Like our team or our parents. Maybe you're a musician. Maybe you're gifted and talented in art or creativity or whatever. And yeah, some of that is natural giftings, but also, have you ever thought about how much your parents had to push you? Or maybe your coach or your teacher or the people in your life who came alongside you to encourage you to get better at what you are so good at? I think we're so good about taking life and taking the stuff that we do and making it all about us and just what we're naturally good at instead of realizing our need or desire for other people. Which is interesting because Jesus, when he kicks off the Beatitudes, one of the first things he says is, blessed are the poor in spirit. Now, you're probably thinking the same thing that I always thought. What does that even mean? What does it mean to be poor in spirit? In fact, when you think about the term poor in spirit, I always thought it was people who were sad or people who were down or people who, because to be, really spirited means to be, to be excited and happy and all that kind of stuff. So to be poor in spirit, what does poor in spirit mean? Well, I love this translation that says, blessed are the poor in spirit and realize their need for God. And that's really the point. Blessed are those who aren't above themselves, who realize their need for God. Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that a lot of times we realize our need for God when things get bad, right? We realize how much we need God when we feel like we haven't studied enough, or maybe we've had a terrible day or a terrible life, or maybe we're going through a really tough, really hard season at home or with our friends, all that kind of stuff. And that's when we start praying and we realize our need for God. But what if God wanted so much more than that? What if God wanted us to love him in the good moments and realize our need for him in the good moments as well as the bad? So Jesus literally kicks off by saying, blessed are those who realize the need for God. But let's remember what this series is called. This series is called Blessed 4. So he says, blessed are those who are poor in spirit and realize their need for God, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And I can't picture any other way of really summing up the gospel in such a short thing, because it's our need for God, our desire for God, that allows us to be a part of the kingdom of heaven. That's why God sent Jesus to die on the cross for us, right? He says, blessed are those who realize their need for God, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And so when we realize that it's not all about us, when we realize how much we need God on a regular basis, then ultimately what do we get? The kingdom of heaven. So let me ask you this question. Do you realize your need for God on a day-to-day basis? Do you, do you pursue God in the good times as well as the bad? Do you need to see how God is working in and amongst your life, even and stop taking credit for all of the stuff that we do, but rather give God more glory, more credit, more honor for the good stuff that happens in our life? Think about those things this week, and we'll see you next week as we continue this series through the Beatitudes.